Whew. Probably the Big Ten.
Why?
I think we're all still like questioning, is Michigan State for real? Like, are they only have two guys averaging double figures. Like Jace Richardson is coming into his own. He's a superstar in the making. But is this is this Michigan State team for real? They won the league, and yes, they're for real. They just blew out Michigan yesterday. Yes, they're for real, but we're still questioning whether or not they are for real. By the way, side note, in terms of Nebraska not even making the field here, there was 5 teams that were tied at 7-13. 5 teams that were tied at 7-13. And Nebraska, who a week ago was on the bubble, didn't get in. I mean, that loss, that buzzer beater loss to Minnesota cost them to even get in their conference tournament. Like, that is crazy to think about. There was 5 teams that were 7-13. That's besides the point. I'm intrigued here. I want to see what happens with this field. I want to see what Indiana does. I want to see, Ohio State, all the quad 1 wins that they have. Are they for real? Can they win a couple games in this field? So the Big Ten would be second. But as I was saying, the Big Ten, I still want to see what happens in the Garden. I want to see what happens. It's going to be electric. The St. John's fans versus the UConn fans. Who's got more fans in that building? It was one-sided last year. We'll see what happens this year. What does Xavier do? What does Creighton do? What does Marquette do? But can we get a Rick Pitino, Danny Hurley final in the Garden for a Big East tournament championship? Now, if you could tell me we're getting that, I'm picking that one.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's going to end up happening, and we'll get to that in a second. But Henson, I want to pick your brain on Michigan State because you cracked a smile when McCall said, "Is Michigan State for real?" Do you think that Michigan State is for real? Are you sold yet?
I had to pick a team on something I did the other day that I just was skeptical on, and it's not a slight on Michigan State at all. But if I had to choose a team that I don't know about, I would say Michigan State. Now, they're good. They're going to win games, and they beat 5 ranked teams in the last 6. So, like, on paper, they're legit. But, yeah, are they for real? Like, can they really go and make a run in the tournament when they meet up with a, team that's really good? I don't know. So it'll be fun to see what this tournament. I think this has the Big Ten tournament has the most variance. I think this is a tournament that you don't know where it could go, right? Like, Indiana's talented enough to win the whole thing, but are they going to come in locked in? Michigan, same way. Like, is Michigan going to use that loss as motivation? So, yeah, I think this has the highest amount of scenarios where teams could win, and I don't think it's going to be Michigan State. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if they win the Big Ten. I'm 100% on the bandwagon of them being for real, though. This feels like your prototypical.
We keep doubting them. We keep doubting them, and they just keep winning. Yeah. We doubted them to beat Michigan 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever it was, and like, who's the best team in the Big Ten? And they beat them. Like, we keep doubting. That's my only thing. We just keep doubting this team. Why are we doubting this team? They're tough. Like, they're balanced. They're unselfish. They play fast. There's so many different things that says this is winning basketball.
I don't think on paper they don't look like a team. Like, if you look at the roster, you look at the breakdown, you go to the KenPom page, you do all that stuff. They don't look like a team that should be winning games at this level, right? But then you see them play, and you see Trey Holloman like going up to 2 guys and pushing them both in the chest at the same time because they're standing on the logo while someone like. That I'll go to war with that Trey Holloman guy. Like, that dude is the kind of player that thrives in the Tom Izzo system. And
hold on, and bring that up too. If I'm Dusty May and I see that, I'm more mad at my team. You guys want to pick a fight at the end of the game? Like, where was the fight at the beginning of the game? Where was your fight? Like, hey, like, oh, we're gonna be Tony tough guys at the end of the game and we're down 18. Like, where's the fight at the beginning of the game? Like, where are you guys at? And he kind of alluded to it in his press conference, but he couldn't come out and say that. But that's what I felt like Dusty was saying in his press conference. No, like, they deserve to rub our noses in it. We didn't fight. Where's our fight? But I'll say this, Michigan, we've seen it all year. Like, they've got some things to figure out now that the clock's at 0. but we'll see what happens. But that's my point with this Michigan State team is they don't seem to have issues in the locker room. They don't seem to have jealousy or envy or any of these things, which makes them dangerous. We've seen all these super talented teams, Kansas being one of them, that have struggled. It's been this roller coaster of a year, and you don't know what's going on in that locker room. When you see a team like Michigan State who has 2 guys averaging double figures, yet they have 8 or 9 guys averaging between 8 points per game and 13 points per game, that shows how unselfish they are. They don't have issues in the locker room. They're not jealous of this guy's getting paid X amount of dollars, or this guy's getting too many shots, or why are you running actions for only him? Where are my actions? Why aren't you giving me the ball? My agent's telling me I got to do that. They don't have that. That's what makes them good. That's why Tom Izzo is continuing to coach. That's why he's this living legend that hasn't said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't for me, because he has a team that embodies the things that he's about.